Welcome back to The Deep Dive, the show where we take a stack of sources and extract the most important nuggets of knowledge to make you genuinely well-informed. Remember our last deep dive into blue ocean strategy? We first uncovered that exhilarating idea of creating entirely new market spaces.
Right. Those blue oceans.
Exactly, those blue oceans of untapped demand, free from that exhausting cutthroat competition. It's really about so much more than just finding a niche.
It's about fundamentally rethinking value, from the ground up, moving past the idea that you're stuck in some kind of zero-sum game.
Yeah, totally.
Precisely. And we explore the core concept of value innovation, which truly challenges the conventional dogma of competition-based strategy.
Yeah.
Traditionally, companies often felt trapped, right? Believing they had to choose between creating greater value at a higher cost or delivering reasonable value at a lower cost.
The classic trade-off.
The classic trade-off. But value innovation, as we discussed, courageously breaks that trade-off, achieving both differentiation and low cost simultaneously. It's a powerful, almost counterintuitive concept that lets companies redefine their whole playing field.
And today we're going even deeper into how that's achieved. We're going to unpack the practical engine that drives this whole value innovation idea, the 4 actions framework.
Ah, yes, the framework, the engine room, you could say.
Exactly. And this framework isn't just some theoretical model, it's a systematic, tactical guide to reconstruct buyer value. It guides you, our listener, to genuinely make the competition irrelevant. We'll explore the 4 key questions leaders have to ask. Which factors should be eliminated? Which should be reduced? Which should be raised? And maybe the most exciting, which should be created. You're going to see how applying these questions empowers companies to chart genuinely new waters with some truly surprising examples from, well, all sorts of industries.
Pretty versatile.
Our mission today is really to show you how to systematically create a new value curve for your industry, not just, incrementally improve the old one. So let's jump right into the strategic landscape.
Indeed. It's vital to start by painting a clear picture of the strategic environment most businesses operate in. Specifically, that stark contrast between what we call red oceans and blue oceans. Understanding where you are and maybe why you might be stuck there, that's really the first step toward breaking free.
Right. So the red ocean, that's basically the default setting for most businesses, isn't it? It's where the waters are, well, red with the blood of competition.
A bit grim, but accurate.
Yeah, a vivid metaphor for that intense struggle for market share. Everyone's fighting for the same customers, often offering similar stuff, and mainly trying to win by being slightly better or maybe slightly cheaper.
Feels like a constant race.
It really does, like a race to the bottom sometimes, or at least just a race to keep up.
That's a very accurate depiction. Many leaders are indeed trapped in this conventional red ocean mindset, where strategy is inherently seen as this binary choice: differentiation or low cost. Their efforts usually involve optimizing what they're already doing, trying to beat rivals on existing metrics,
Tweaking things.
Exactly, tweaking, maybe investing heavily in marketing to steal a few percentage points of market share, or incrementally improving a product feature. But what's fascinating here, and often overlooked, is just optimizing current practices. Well, our sources highlight it does not address the very real possibility that the firm could be exhausting its assets and resources by optimizing the wrong activities.
Ooh, that's key. Optimizing the wrong things.
While more strategic competitors pass it by. This isn't true strategy. It's just trying to do the same things, maybe slightly better, perhaps with a more efficient process or a sharper ad campaign. Think about, legacy airlines back in the day, meticulously optimizing their spoke and hub models, adding routes, perfecting in-flight service.
Right, making the existing model better.
They were improving what existed, but a whole new kind of competitor operating on a totally different premise was just around the corner, ready to make all those intricate optimizations. Well, irrelevant.
And that leads right into what you called the red ocean trap, the niche illusion. This is important because marketing often tells us, go niche, find your niche.
Yeah, finer market segmentation.
Right. Identify and capture niche markets. But you're saying that's not the same thing at all as creating a blue ocean.
Absolutely not. And this distinction is crucial. It's a trap many companies fall into, even with good intentions. Our sources explicitly state, uncovering a niche in an existing space is not the same thing as identifying a new market space.
Okay.
A classic example is Delta's Song Airline, remember that? Launched back in 2003.
Vaguely, yeah.
Delta's idea was to create a new space in low-cost carriers, probably seeing Southwest's success. but it largely failed because they treated it as a niche strategy within the existing airline model.
Ah, so not a fundamental redesign.
Exactly. They didn't fundamentally redesign the value proposition through real value innovation. Song just offered, a slightly trendier look, some entertainment options, but it was still operating within the red ocean of airline competition.
Just another fish in the pond.
Pretty much. Maybe a brightly colored one, but still in the same bloodied waters, carving out a tiny piece of an existing pie instead of baking a whole new one. It didn't break free. It just tried to outcompete on existing dimensions in a smaller segment.
So if that's the red ocean trap, what's the blue ocean promise that truly breaks us out? What does it offer that simple niche marketing doesn't?
The blue ocean promise is fundamentally about value innovation, which, as we talked about last time, is a new way of thinking about and executing strategy that results in the creation of a blue ocean and a break from the competition. It fundamentally challenges that deep belief that you must choose between value and cost.
Right, that trade-off again.
In a blue ocean, you can and really should achieve both. That's where the magic happens. And a key aspect of creating a new market space, a real differentiator from niche strategies, is converting non-customers into customers.
Ah, bringing new people in.
Exactly. You're not just fighting over the existing finite demand, you're expanding the demand entirely. You're not just taking a slice of the pie, you're baking a whole new pie and inviting people who never even considered pie before.
And what's really interesting is that this isn't just for external market strategy like launching a new product. The sources mention applying this to leadership, too.
Yes, that's a fascinating extension. The concepts and analytic frameworks, like the 4 actions we're about to discuss, can even be applied to leadership itself. Helping, as our sources put it, leaders release the blue ocean of unexploited talent and energy in their organizations rapidly and at low cost.
Wow. So finding untapped potential within the company itself.
Exactly. It suggests the framework's power goes beyond just market strategy to internal organizational innovation, leadership development, even changing the culture. It's about creating new value inside your own walls for your own people.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about challenging assumptions everywhere.
It truly highlights the universality of it. Challenging assumptions and creating new value, whether it's for customers outside or your own employees inside. It's about looking at those entrenched internal processes or maybe uninspired teams and asking, what can we eliminate, reduce, raise, and create here to unlock their potential? Just like you would for a market offering.
Okay, let's unpack this for real now. This brings us right to the 4 actions framework. This is your tactical guide to value innovation.
The practical toolkit.
Exactly. This framework helps companies systematically ask 4 key questions to reconstruct buyer value and break that value-cost trade-off we keep mentioning. It's not about incremental improvement, making something 10% faster or adding a minor feature. It's about creating a fundamentally new value curve for your industry.
Right, the value curve, that visual representation.
Yeah. For those maybe less familiar, a value curve is basically a graph showing how a company performs across its industry's key competing factors. In a red ocean, most companies have pretty similar looking curves, maybe slight variations.
They all compete on the same things, more or less.
Right. The 4 actions framework helps you deliberately redesign that curve, flatten it where factors are eliminated or reduced, and make it spike dramatically where factors are raised or created. It makes your offering visually and conceptually distinct from everything else out there. It's like drawing a whole new strategic picture.
And the ultimate aim, as you said, is to make the competition irrelevant by creating new demand instead of getting stuck in that head-to-head fight.
Okay, so the 4 questions again, the heart of this framework.
Yeah.
1, eliminate. Which factors that the industry just takes for granted should be completely eliminated?
Gone, poof.
2, reduce. Which factors should be reduced way, way below the industry standard?
Pull back significantly.
3, raise. Which factors should be raised well above the industry standard?
Where you really stand out.
And 4, create. Which factors should be created that the industry has never even offered before?
The truly novel stuff.
Let's start with number 1, eliminate. Stripping away the obvious, challenging those deep assumptions.
This one takes courage. It focuses on finding and removing factors that industries have competed on forever, but maybe customers don't value anymore. Or maybe they add cost without real benefit.
It's about asking, do we really need this? Or is it just tradition?
Exactly. The purpose is clear. Eliminate these factors, you can significantly cut costs, shift your strategic focus, and free up resources to invest in those raise and create actions.
Okay, examples. The classic one has to be Southwest, right?
Southwest Airlines is a fantastic, often cited example. For decades, legacy airlines operated on that complex spoken hub model. They offered multiple classes first, business coach. They had in-flight meals, interline baggage transfer.
All the standard stuff you expected.
Right. Southwest came along and, just brilliant, created a transformative new point-to-point business model. They eliminated the complex spoken hub routes, which were notorious for delays and hassle. No more connections for many travelers. They also completely eliminated premium class seating. No first class, no meals, no interline baggage transfers.
Wow, stripping it right back.
These were all factors the industry took for granted, but they added huge cost and complexity, and frankly, weren't valued by everyone. Southwest targeted budget-conscious, short-haul travelers. For them, just getting from A to B cheaply and reliably was key. The frills, unnecessary cost. They simplified radically by elimination.
That's a massive shift, really questioning the fundamentals. What about retail?
Think about Walmart in small towns. Before Walmart, these places often had just small variety stores or local shops. High markups, limited selection.
Yeah, that was the norm.
Sam Walton's strategy eliminated those 45% markups, limited selection, and limited hours. He saw that these factors, which local competitors just accepted, were actually barriers for customers. By eliminating those huge markups, he totally changed the game for retail in rural America.
Okay, let's get modern. SpaceX versus traditional aerospace. That feels like elimination too.
Oh, absolutely. When Elon Musk started SpaceX, the aerospace industry was, well, slow, incredibly expensive, often bureaucratic, relying heavily on government contracts. SpaceX didn't just eliminate a service, they eliminated that whole traditional, ponderous, super expensive development paradigm.
The whole way of working.
Exactly. Their engineers, as sources note, cribbed from past capsule work, researched, sure, but then had to figure out how to advance these past efforts and bring the capsule into the modern age. That meant eliminating old, cumbersome processes, getting rid of reliance on, say, colossal computing bays that had a fraction of the power of a modern iPad. They took out the dead weight of legacy processes, bureaucracy, outdated tech. They went for rapid iteration, vertical integration, effectively eliminating decades of ingrained, inefficient ways of working.
And in finance. Fintech seems like a prime example.
Definitely. Think about a digital-first bank like N26 or Revolut. They eliminated the traditional branch network entirely.
No physical banks.
Right. This wasn't just about digitizing paper forms. It was a fundamental choice to remove the need for physical presence for almost everything. Onboarding via video call, managing accounts on an app. They slashed the overhead tied to buildings, which traditional banks saw as essential for trust and service.
Which let them offer better rates, presumably.
Precisely. More competitive rates, slicker user experiences, all without the burden of that physical infrastructure.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So once you've dared to strip away the unnecessary, the next step is often looking at where the industry might be over-delivering without real value, leading us to action to reduce.
Right, reduce. Streamlining for efficiency and value. This action identifies factors that are important to customers, but maybe they've been overserved or over-engineered by the industry. This drives up costs without adding proportional value. The goal is to reduce them well below the industry standard.
Why do that?
Well, it allows for significant cost savings while still meeting essential customer needs. Often, it involves simplifying offerings, removing excess features or service levels that aren't core to the value proposition for your target audience. It's asking where you can pull back without really hurting the perceived value.
Okay, Southwest again. They must have reduced things too.
They're a great case study for the whole framework. Beyond eliminating services, they drastically reduced turnaround time at gates. Traditional airlines often had planes sitting for ages, cleaning, refueling, loading. Southwest optimized this like crazy.
Get them back in the air faster.
Much faster. More flights per plane per day, much more efficient. They also reduced the complexity of ticketing and booking. Simpler fare structure, direct booking mainly, made air travel less intimidating, more accessible. Customers cared about getting there on time, not navigating complex booking systems or crazy loyalty programs.
And Walmart, their reduction was price, right? Or margin.
Exactly. A core part of Walmart's strategy was low prices every day. This meant reducing the profit margins, the markups, that traditional stores relied on. While others had occasional sales, Walmart strategically reduced the average margin per item way below the standard.
So less profit per item, but way more volume.
Precisely. They made goods much more affordable, attracting customers with consistent value, not just sporadic discounts. It was a strategic reduction of margin to gain volume and fierce customer loyalty. It totally disrupted retail pricing.
And in fintech, how does reduce play out there?
Well, think about open banking legislation.
Mhm.
In many places, this required banks to provide open APIs based on common standards. This effectively reduced the barriers for third-party fintechs.
Made it easier for them to connect.
Yeah, it reduced the traditional lock-in of customer data, simplified how new players could integrate with the existing financial plumbing. By making data sharing easier and secure, it dramatically reduced the complexity and cost for new entrants to build cool, innovative solutions. More competition, potentially lower costs for consumers.
Okay. And PayPal, you mentioned them earlier.
Right, PayPal's initial growth strategy involved a clever reduction.
Hmm.
Their email payment product worked fine, but they needed users fast. So they reduced the hurdle of trying it out by basically paying people. They gave new customers $10 for joining and $10 more every time they referred a friend. Now, the sources say this was unsustainable on its own, long term.
Can't just give away money forever.
Right. But tactically, it reduced the cost and friction of initial adoption to near zero. It kickstarted the whole thing, got those crucial network effects going.
That's a smart way to reduce the barrier. Okay, so we've eliminated, we've reduced. Now the framework pushes us to excel. What should we raise well above the industry standard?
Action 3, raise. This involves cranking up certain factors way above the industry standard, focusing on areas that genuinely matter to customers, especially where the industry might have been slacking or just complacent. It's about creating distinctive value that really stands out, makes your offering compelling.
And the purpose here is differentiation, giving people a strong reason to choose you.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
To differentiate and provide compelling reasons to choose the new solution. Often this justifies a new price point or attracts a whole new segment of customers. It's about identifying what really moves the needle for the customer and then over-delivering there unapologetically.
Starbucks feels like the perfect example here. Before them, coffee was, well, just coffee.
It was largely a commodity, yeah.
Yeah.
Something you got at a diner, brewed at home, grabbed quickly, pure utility. Starbucks fundamentally raised the sensory experience and the whole third-place environment. Their stores, as our sources detail, are carefully designed to enhance the quality of everything the customers see, touch, hear, smell, or taste.
It's the whole package.
Totally. The artwork, the music, the aromas, the surfaces all have to send the same subliminal message. Everything here is best of class. And they explicitly say, we're not in the coffee business serving people. We're in the people business serving coffee.
Raising customer service and ambiance to the core.
Absolutely. They transformed a simple commodity into an experience, a ritual, a social hub. They raised those elements dramatically.
And Apple. Design has to be their raise.
Quintessential example. Apple famously raised product design, simplicity, and user-friendliness, making products beautifully designed, simple to use and user-friendly, way above the industry standard of functional, often clunky tech. Back when tech was often intimidating, complex, Apple made it accessible, appealing to a much broader audience, not just tech geeks. They understood the experience of using a device was critical, and they elevated that experience massively.
Let's go back to Walmart again. They raised something too, didn't they? Beyond just low prices.
They did. Alongside low prices, Sam Walton meticulously raised customer satisfaction. Things like satisfaction guaranteed policies and offering hours that were realistic for the way people wanted to shop, evenings, weekends.
Seems basic now, but wasn't then.
Not in small towns with traditional shops, no. These were significant improvements. He directly addressed unmet needs where selection was poor and maybe the attitude was a bit take it or leave it. That focus on customer delight, especially for working families, built huge loyalty.
And fintechs again, what are they raising?
Customer experience and efficiency. They tend to revolve around innovative improvements to customer experience and process efficiency. They're raising the bar for ease of use, speed, personalization compared to traditional banks.
Like instant notifications, slick apps.
Exactly. Instant transaction alerts, intuitive mobile interfaces, super fast loan approvals. They prioritize a seamless digital experience that typical banks, often bogged down by old systems, struggled with. It makes banking feel much more responsive, more customer-centric.
Okay, finally, the fourth action. Maybe the most audacious one. The one that really defines a blue ocean. Create. Unearthing completely new value.
This is about introducing entirely new factors the industry has never offered. Often meeting latent needs, things customers didn't even know they wanted until they got them. Truly pushing the boundaries.
And the purpose here is new demand.
Nothing less. generate entirely new demand, expand market boundaries, move decisively beyond existing competition. This is where true blue oceans are formed, not just by outperforming rivals, but by creating a whole new category of value.
Let's revisit Southwest Airlines. What did they create?
By focusing relentlessly on point-to-point, low-cost travel, Southwest didn't just steal customers from other airlines, though they did that too. More profoundly, they created a whole new market segment.
People who wouldn't have flown otherwise?
Exactly. People who would have previously driven for short to medium trips because flying was too expensive, too inconvenient, too formal, they genuinely converted non-customers into customers, making flying an alternative to driving, not just an alternative to United or American. That expanded the whole market.
And Starbucks, what was their create?
As we touched on, they created the concept of the third place, that welcoming, comfy spot between home and work, for gathering, socializing, meetings, or just chilling with coffee. Before Starbucks, that idea didn't really exist in mass market coffee.
It wasn't just about the coffee, it was the place.
Right. They transformed coffee from a simple drink into part of a social and personal ritual, something the industry had never explicitly offered as a core value prop. They designed and cultivated a whole cultural experience around a beverage.
Apple. Beyond design, what did they create?
They created an emotional connection, a why. Remember their credo. We believe in thinking differently. They weren't just selling computers, they were selling an identity, a philosophy.
Thinking differently.
Exactly. Connecting technology to personal aspiration, self-expression. That was a totally new, almost spiritual layer of value for consumers back then.
How about SpaceX? They created, well, a whole industry almost.
Pretty much. They didn't just iterate on rockets, which was the norm. They created that audacious vision, getting humans to Mars, something that gives the public hope, inspires talented people to work on inspiring things. They effectively created a new commercial space industry, proving reusability, slashing launch costs. Their Dragon capsule, likely the fastest project of its ilk done in the history of the aerospace industry. Why? Because they created a new, agile way to develop and launch, driven by that huge, inspiring goal. Redefined commercial space.
What about individual.com? You mentioned them as an early internet example.
Right, a great, if less famous case. They created a personalized information delivery service, totally novel then. They used interactive and database technology to amass huge amounts of data on individual customers' needs and customize large volumes of services for individual customers at relatively low cost.
So, your news, not just the news.
Exactly. And that created huge switching costs. Once you'd trained it, why go elsewhere? It forged a completely new relationship between a content provider and its audience.
And thinking everyday access, Walmart again. What did they create for small towns?
They created access to a wide variety of goods at consistently low prices for people who simply didn't have that option before. If you lived in a small town, you often had to drive hours for selection and decent prices.
Walmart brought the city store to them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Vast range, aggressive pricing, right there in rural America. Fundamentally changed shopping habits, quality of life for millions. A direct creation of convenience and choice that just wasn't there before.
Even complex finance has examples, like mortgage bonds.
Yeah, back in the 70s, Salomon Brothers created tranches by carving up cash flows from pools of mortgages. Before, a mortgage was just a loan. This new structure let investors choose different risk levels, limited uncertainty for them. It broadened the appeal of mortgage-backed securities, attracted new buyers who wouldn't touch traditional bonds, basically created a new, flexible financial product from existing assets, revolutionized fixed-income markets.
And looking forward, fintech creating data advocacy.
Yeah, that's a forward-looking example. Fintechs envision creating a personal data advocacy service to support individuals by securing their data assets and asserting their ownership.
Helping people control their own data.
Right. It anticipates a growing need in our data-intensive world, offering a service that doesn't really exist mainstream yet, shows foresight in creating future value.
So connecting all this, the strategic impact is huge. Applying all four actions lets companies pursue both differentiation, raising, creating, and low cost, eliminating, reducing.
Simultaneously.
Which conventional wisdom says is impossible. But that's the core of value innovation, right? Escaping the red ocean, breaking from the competition. It's a deliberate strategy.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to see the interdependencies. The cost savings from eliminating and reducing directly free up resources, money, people which you then reinvest into raising key factors and creating new ones.
It's a virtuous cycle.
Exactly. A complete departure from the zero-sum game of old competition. By rethinking what to offer, how to offer it, you shift focus from fighting over existing demand to creating new demand.
Hmm.
Your old competitors become, well, kind of irrelevant. Their value props, optimized for the old market, just don't line up anymore. They're still fighting over the old pie while you've opened a new bakery with a whole different product line.
You mentioned being remarkable, like Seth Godin's Purple Cow. This framework seems like a direct path to that.
I think it is. Applying all four actions leads naturally to creating remarkable products that the right people seek out. It's about being that purple cow, standing out, being worth talking about, not just another safe, ordinary product needing tons of marketing push.
Because it's fundamentally different.
Right. The beauty isn't just efficiency or differentiation. It's deliberately sculpting something so distinct, so tuned to unmet needs or overlooked value that it demands attention. It's not just 10% better, it's categorically different. It pulls people in because it's genuinely unique and valuable, not just loudly advertised.
However, it's not foolproof, is it? We need to talk about pitfalls. The framework can be misapplied.
Oh, absolutely. It's not a magic bullet. Not every attempt leads to a blue ocean. The road can be paved with good intentions, but derailed by misjudgment, internal resistance, or just failing to really understand the customer.
Like the Edsel. That's
Yeah.
the classic flop example.
The Edsel car, yeah. Ford launched it in the late 50s. Famously flopped because executives, influenced by motivation research people, tried to appeal to abstract sexual fantasies and status, instead of supplying reasonable and practical transportation and good design.
They missed what people actually wanted in a car.
Totally. They neglected the reality principle, tried to create an irrelevant emotional value while failing on core practical stuff. A stark reminder. What you create has to genuinely resonate with real needs, not just imagined ones.
And internal problems can kill innovation too, like that GM engine.
Right, General Motors' copper-cooled engine in the 1920s. The idea was to eliminate water from cooling innovative. But despite the potential upsides, the project caused a huge internal jam.
Didn't get traction inside GM.
Chevrolet's progress stalled. The intensively developed model wasn't ready for mass production, faced resistance from existing engineers, wasn't universally accepted internally. It shows that eliminate and create need not just technical feasibility, but careful execution, buy-in across the company, a culture willing to adapt. Internal innovation can fail if the organization isn't ready.
And back to Delta's song, treating it like a niche strategy instead of a real blue ocean move.
Exactly. It fell into that red ocean trap. Didn't fundamentally apply the four actions to create a truly distinct value curve. Just offered a slightly different, maybe more stylish version of the same old thing. Stayed in the red ocean.
It lacked the boldness.
It did. Lacked the boldness to truly eliminate, reduce, raise, and create in a game-changing way. It was cosmetic, not strategic. Consumers saw through it.
So these examples raise a big question. How do you know you're making the right choices with these actions? It's not like you have a crystal ball.
You absolutely don't. And that's why applying the four actions isn't a one-time event. It's not a perfect prediction. This is where an iterative approach, very much like the lean startup methodology, is crucial. A startup's job, or any innovator's job, is to rigorously measure where it is right now and devise experiments to learn how to move the real numbers closer to the ideal.
Test and learn.
Exactly. This process of continuously pivoting and testing a new hypothesis means you're constantly refining what to eliminate, reduce, raise, and create. You avoid persevering too long, leading companies to failure.
Okay, how does that lean startup thinking apply specifically here? Like if you want to eliminate something, how do you test that safely?
Good question. For eliminating a factor, maybe you run A/B tests with a small customer segment. Offer a version without that feature. Does satisfaction drop? Does retention suffer? Or do the cost savings outweigh any loss? You're testing the hypothesis that customers don't value it as much as you thought.
And for reduced,
Similar idea. Offer a late version or tiered service. Measure carefully. Does the reduced offering still meet core needs? Does it provide enough value at the lower cost? Or have you cut too deep? You calibrate the reduction, find that sweet spot.
okay, but raising and creating seem riskier. How do you test those without betting the farm?
They can be riskier, which is why experiments are key. For raising a factor, pilot enhanced features or services with a select group. Track feedback, meticulously engagement, satisfaction, critically, willingness to pay more. Test if the higher standard genuinely resonates.
And for creating something brand new.
The lean approach says build a minimum viable product, an MVP, something that embodies that new factor. Could be a simple prototype, a landing page describing the idea, a beta service. The goal isn't perfection, it's early feedback, especially from potential non-customers.
Do they get it? Does it solve a real pain point?
Exactly. Do they understand the value? Does
Yeah.
it solve an unarticulated pain? Are they willing to even try it? This continuous loop build, measure, learn, lets you refine your blue ocean strategy, ensure your eliminations, reductions, raises, creations are anchored in real customer insight and market validation, not just internal guesswork. It's about intelligently de-risking radical innovation.
So, what does this all mean for you, our listener? As you navigate your own world, professional or personal, the Four Actions framework isn't just a business checklist, it's really a profound mental shift.
A way of thinking.
It pushes you to critically examine every aspect of value, challenge those deep assumptions holding things back. By systematically eliminating, reducing, raising, and creating, you move beyond just competing. You aim to make rivals irrelevant, open up new spaces, draw that distinct new value curve.
It's about transformation, not just tweaking. A proactive stance, not reactive.
It really is. It's a call to strategize with real creativity, a deep understanding of value, rather than just reacting to what others are doing. Shifting focus from winning old battles to defining entirely new playing fields where you set the rules.
It takes courage, though. Courage to let go of what's comfortable and foresight to envision what could be.
Exactly. And for your final provocative thought today, consider the products or services you use every day, maybe even your own work, your hobbies, community projects. How might they be reimagined? What if their creators or even you truly applied the Four Actions framework, not just to improve, but to utterly transform their value, making the old ways seem, well, truly irrelevant? What would you eliminate, reduce, raise, or create in your own world to forge a blue ocean of your own?